probably the last time I'll come back because I'm now 83 years old.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
You make me happy, those skies are gray.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
乐道院它本来是美国传教士在当时潍县办的一个传教、医疗和教育的一个场所。在抗战兴起之后，特别是在珍珠港事件之后，日本就拘押了当时在各个地方的西方侨民，为了管理的方便，就把在华北的各个城市单独拘押的这些西方侨民就集中关押到潍县集中营。
You couldn't see over it, but it wasn't so high that you couldn't actually. So I was born in Peking, where my father and my mother had been married a couple of years in Peking. And my father was going to Peking University as a graduate student in Chinese history. In those days, it was called Yenjing University. So he had just started school. He'd done one semester at Yenjing, and then the war struck. And so school closed, and he had to stop. And he and my mother were then put under house arrest by the Japanese in Beijing. So we lived under house arrest for a year. I think that it became clear that the war was going on a long time, and the Japanese decided to move all the foreigners in North China down here to Weishan and make a concentration camp.
Now, the Japanese soldiers just ruined the compound. They took almost everything out of the hospital or broke it down. Most of the windows were broken. The toilet facilities were all broken up and were not working. And a lot of the buildings were broken. And so when we arrived, it was that were hardly fit to live in.
I was impressed then at how small an area, how crowded it must have been for 2,000 people to be living here. For me, I was conceived in camp, so I was in my mother's belly. So perhaps if food was in very short supply, then when I was in my mother's stomach, maybe I suffered a little bit. Maybe that's why I'm so short.
Well, I think that one of the most difficult things for all the campers was that food was scarce. The supply that the Japanese could get was not very good. So everybody, all the adults in the camp lost weight. I don't know what my father weighed at the end of camp, but I've seen pictures. He looked like a skinny teenager.
过去我们曾经把潍县集中营称作东方的奥斯维辛潍县集中营也是忍受了这种拘禁的这种残酷的对待吧就是生活上也极为艰苦。在最艰苦的时候，他们把鸡蛋壳都打碎了，来作为钙的补充所以这时候中国人集中营附近的中国村民也给他们一些帮助。
Through the local Chinese, they were able to get messages out to the American government, to the Swiss government about conditions at the camp, and that was why the camp arranged for two people to escape to communicate with the local Chinese army to make sure that the camp was going to be safe in spite of all the military activity going on.
certainly it affected us positively in our outlook of China and, of course, the people, because of the help that they provided to those in the camp. And not only the black market, the feeding of them and so forth, but also the communication that they provided.
And that was very dangerous because if the Japanese found any of those, they would kill the Chinese that they caught.
这些西方侨民在危险集中营这一段历史啊，它也不光是一段特殊历史时间非常痛苦的这种经历啊，那么同时它也是中外人民一种情感的桥梁。
In many ways, I feel like China is home, and I love coming back to China and to feel at home and to see the changes that have happened.
Well, certainly you would hope that the era of an internment camp idea is over, that civilians would never again be put into a situation like that, and even POWs.
"和平是有感染力的。80年前经历过这段经历的人，其实很多都离开人世了，但是这个故事，那段历史，依然通过一代一代会传下来。
I think Weixin always had a unique experience. Hopefully they will keep up the museum as sort of a lesson for what could happen in warfare.
When I think of Weifang, I don't just think of suffering and war, I think of humanity.
And I think of peace. Peace is not just the absence of war, it's the presence of understanding, the memory of pain transformed into purpose, and the hope that we can learn from our past.
People-to-people friendship, country to country, and empathy into what the other person is feeling. There's never been a more important time for that. And hopefully if we can keep doing that, we can succeed in having more peace and less conflict in the world.